In Northern Ireland, how many pedestrians die on our roads? About 1 a week. If you knock someone down, even if you've slowed to 20 miles an hour when you hit them, they'll miss being on their feet for a while, if they're lucky. And say you only get slowed down to 30 miles an hour. They could miss being on their feet for the rest of their lives, no matter who's to blame. But hit someone at 40 miles an hour or more, they'll miss it all.
I can see clearly now the rain has gone. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Speed child, gonna stay alive when you're 25. I'm a shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. Call me Mr. Raider, call me Mr. Wrong, call me Mr. Vain. I'm on a highway to hell. I'm on a highway to hell.
It must have been love, but it's over now. It must have been good, but I lost it somehow. It must have been love.
Death by dangerous driving, 10 years in prison.
It must have
Wise up.
been
Slow down.
love, but I lost
Expect the unexpected.
You don't bring me flowers. You don't sing me love songs. You hardly talk anymore when I come through the door at the end of the day. I remember when you couldn't wait to love me. You used to hate to leave me. Now after loving me late at night, when it's good for you, babe, and you're feeling alright, well, you just roll over and turn out the light. And you don't bring me flowers anymore.
Never ever drink and drive. If you don't wear your seatbelt, you're breaking the law. Legs, arms, ribs, necks, spines, lives.
Break it to me gently.
Without a seatbelt, 3 out of 4 of you will be killed or seriously injured in a 30-mile-per-hour head-on crash. Always wear your seatbelt, or you'll be breaking more than the law.
That you still love me.
As you all know, driving in Northern Ireland will never be the same again for all your favourite drivers. It's penalty points for Miss Mascara, penalty points for Mr. Mobile Me. Penalty points for Raging Rob. And of course for Mrs. Oblivious.
I don't see anything wrong, officer.
Penalty points. Clock up 12 penalty points in 3 years and you're... Recognise anyone? From DOE, supported by Quickfit.
You wouldn't. Would you? And yet every day, people like you ignore all the warnings. Drift into danger. Forget to pay attention. Forget that even one drink can impair your driving. Forget to wear your seatbelts. Forget the speed limits. And forget the crushing reality that nothing on the road is more crushable than you. Supported by Shell to save lives.
Young men think they're great drivers. Therefore, drive too fast to cope with the unexpected. And therefore destroy more lives on our roads than any other drivers. Slow down, boys.
Shall I tell you about my life? Say I'm a man of the world. I've flown across every time, and I've seen lots of pretty girls. Guess I've got everything I need. I wouldn't ask more, and there's no one I'd rather be.
Never ever drink and drive. Could you live with the shame? From DOE, supported by AXA Insurance.
Body to body, funky to funky, we know how to rock your party.
This is Michael. Today he's going to hit his girlfriend so hard she ends up with permanent brain damage.
Funky to funky.
Three dead in this vehicle. The girl is critical. They say the guy without the seatbelt did the damage.
No seatbelt, no excuse. From DOE, supported by AXA Insurance.
I wanna walk you home. Please let me walk you home. I want to walk you home. Please let me walk you home. You look so good to me. Ooh, I saw you walking all alone. That's why I wanna walk you home.
Pay attention or pay the price. From DOE, supported by AXA Insurance.
I wanna walk you home. Please let me walk you home. I want to walk you home. Please let me walk you home. You look so good to me. Ooh, I saw you walking all alone. That's why I wanna walk you home.
Pay attention or pay the price. From DOE, supported by AXA Insurance. The moment you put that helmet on, you're free. All your problems go away. Nothing clears your head like it. You're buzzing. You're in control. Open roads. You open up. You leave it all behind. Because you're always thinking ahead.
We can't think ahead anymore. He loved that bike. Loved to get away from it all. But we can never get away from this.
It's not just you who crashes. Bike safely.
And I don't wanna get over you. It doesn't matter what you do. I just can't get over you.
Speeding.
Over you.
You can't get over the carnage.
And I don't wanna get
On local roads, 8 out of 10 speed-related fatal crashes are caused by young male drivers. So speed is the biggest single cause of road deaths, and young males are the biggest single killers. Speeding. You can't get over the carnage. Northern Ireland's new safety cameras mean that the number of drivers checked for speed will be doubled. So next time you get over the speed limit, you may have to get over 3 penalty points and a £60 fine. And if you go to court, up to 6 penalty points and a maximum £1,000 fine. And at 12 penalty points, you'll have to get over disqualification, higher insurance, and even losing your job. Speeding. You can't get over the carnage.
Tonight we're testing drivers for evidence of driving on drugs, illegal drugs and prescription drugs. Because a fifth of all dead drivers and riders analysed in the last 6 years had drugs in their bodies. Drugs impair your judgment. Drugs impair your driving. Drugs kill. And the evidence proves it.
You'll get smashed if you drive on drugs. Before you decide to drink and drive, take a look at the decisions you could be forcing on others. Just one drink impairs driving. Never ever drink and drive. Could you live with the shame? From DOE, supported by AXA Insurance. Without your seatbelt, your friends can get it on the neck or get it on the head. So get it on. No seatbelt, no excuse. From DOE, supported by AXA Insurance. What happens if you drive a child unbelted and without a legal child restraint? In a collision at 30 miles per hour, the child in a split second is turned into a human missile, thrown around the car like a rag doll. It is likely that the child's brain will be pulped and the child's neck broken. Others in the car will be maimed or even killed, especially from head injuries. So, you drive your child unbelted and without a legal child restraint? How selfish can you get? No seatbelt, no excuse. From DOE, supported by AXA Insurance.
It's now law that if you lift a mobile phone while driving, you could lift 3 penalty points and a maximum fine of £1,000. Worse still, if you lift a mobile phone while driving, it could be the last lift for you. Or you. Or you. Never lift a mobile phone while driving. From DOE.
I can't take my eyes off you. Eyes off you. No, I can't take my eyes off you. I can't take
quite clear that you are driving too fast to cope with the unexpected.
The faster the speed, the bigger the mess. From DOE, supported by Aviva.
If you don't wear a seatbelt, you're 8 times more likely to be ejected from your vehicle. And that's very bad news. Most ejections don't get to me at all because they've hit the road at 60 miles per hour. And they don't have a graze, they don't have a face. They may not have a head or limbs. They're just spinning down the road, dead. And what happens if you wear your seatbelt the wrong way is equally mind-bending. If you're crazy enough to wear your seatbelt under your arm, and if you reach me after a crash, it will have sliced into you like cheese wire, lacerating your vital organs. And with children not properly restrained, it's even worse. Smashing forward through the windshield, brain damage, spinal injury. And believe me, spinal injury is not just for the weekend, it's for life. When the ambulance rushes somebody in from a car crash, the family come into the emergency department expecting what they see on TV. But this isn't TV, this is real life. And when the team and I have finished the fight to save someone's life, it's the cleaning ladies who scrub the blood off the floor and pick up the pieces. When I declare someone dead, I phone the coroner, I gather myself for a few moments, and then I go to see the family, usually the parents. This is the worst possible news for you. We've done the best for your son, but sadly now he's dead. And you see those people dissolving, their lives dissolving, just falling apart. If you're a young road user, in love with life and fun, you don't ever want your mum to meet me doing my job, do you?
Take another look at the next motorcyclist you see and ask yourself, who's underneath? He's a dad. He's a brother. He's a son. He's an uncle. He's a best mate. He's for keeps. Now take another look at the fact that half of motorcyclist deaths and serious injuries are due to drivers. So take another look for motorcyclists coming from behind, or when you're turning right, or when you're coming out of a side road, before you have to take a look at this. Be bike aware. Take another look. From DOE.
If you're young, you'll know which drugs could make a driver sleepy at the wheel, and which drugs could make a driver so confident that he'll start to take dangerous risks on the road. But do you know what it would feel like if it was your mum or your sister that a drug driver wiped out, veering across the road asleep or overtaking in a crazy place? Or do you know what you would feel like if you were his passenger,
and you ended up with nothing to do for months but recognize footsteps. What steps will you take to stop a drug driver from wrecking your life? From DOE.
Every drink increases your risk of crashing.
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 Hit home yet?
Never, ever drink and drive.
Kevin was training to be a lorry mechanic in Enniskillen. He was 17, fit to do anything with his hands. He could have fixed anything. He was a brilliant son. Every Friday night he and his friends headed to Clonus, but they always had a taxi. That Friday he took a lift. He was the passenger. It was after 1 a.m. when I was woken up. We went out to the roadside to the crash, and I saw him at the roadside. I knew in my heart he was gone. The hospital told us it was the machine that was keeping him alive. I was there when they switched it off. People talk about accidents, but if you go out driving over the limit, you know what can happen. And that's not an accident in my eyes.
I'll never forget the last conversation I had with Jamie. See you later, son. Love you. See him back, Mum. 2 hours later, he was dead. He was 21, an apprentice plumber, with so many choices ahead of him. But that Saturday, some bad choices changed everything forever. On Ballyhacket Lane, Jamie drove a car he shouldn't have. On the way down, he lost control of it. He was speeding. The car hit a dry stone wall and landed in a field. Words can't describe how I felt standing there afterwards, dropping to my knees with bits of wreckage in my hands. Before you drive, be careful about the choices you make and the lives you could shatter.
You can't become a champion driver without putting safety first. I'm surrounded by safety gear, in the car and on the track, so it's always speed in controlled conditions. But it's madness to speed on public roads where anything can happen. You just don't realise the dangers that are out there, or how fragile you are, especially your neck and head. So if you lose concentration or lose control, you've no chance if you're speeding on public roads. Driving too fast for the conditions means you're in the danger zone and you're unsafe, risking innocent lives. I've witnessed firsthand the devastation caused to families by dangerous driving. You don't ever want to go there.
One moment can change everything. One moment can turn everything on its head. One moment can finish your social life. One moment can make you a killer. If you kill someone by driving carelessly, you can go to prison for up to 5 years and get a criminal record for life.
Trapped in a moment. Trapped in a moment. Never will escape from it. Trapped in a moment.
One lapse can last a lifetime. From DOE, supported by MIS Claims.
Just because I'm a pedestrian doesn't mean I'm nobody.
Just because I'm a driver doesn't mean I can see you.
Just because you're at the speed limit doesn't mean you're not dangerous.
Just because you're in a rush doesn't mean you can ignore the crossing.
Just because you're driving doesn't take away my right of way.
Just because it seems clear doesn't mean you shouldn't stop.
Just because you are surrounded by metal doesn't mean I'm not flesh and blood.
Just because your friends are chatting doesn't mean it's safe for you.
Just because I'm in trainers doesn't mean you can run me down.
Just because you're nearly home doesn't mean you are.
1 in every 5 road deaths is a pedestrian. Just because you use the road doesn't mean you own it. Respect everyone's journey. From DOE.
I was cycling in the bike lane. The driver said the sun was in his eyes.
The driver said she thought the text was important.
He tried to say the road was greasy.
He said he didn't realize his bike was so powerful.
She said her passenger distracted her.
He said he was in a hurry.
He said he didn't set out to do it. It was just an accident.
Over 95% of crashes where someone is killed or seriously injured are due to human error. Kill the excuses. It's no accident. From DOE. We all share the road, so shouldn't we all share the responsibility?
I would give everything I own just to have you back again.
Every road death is one too many.
Everything I own just to touch you.
Share the road to zero.
Again.
From DOE.
Just when I needed you to pay attention.
Just when I needed you to take another look.
Just when I needed you to show consideration.
Just when I needed you to look really closely.
Driver carelessness is the biggest cause of motorcyclist deaths and serious injuries.
Just when I need
Take another look. What are you afraid of missing today? A 2-second glance doubles the risk of crashing. So what are you really missing? A 2-second glance means you miss what really matters. Everything else can wait. Would you distract your friend doing this?
Look at him, mate!
Or this.
Ready to party, Jenny!
Or this.
In the hole!
So why would you distract them when they're doing this? Young passengers and young drivers are a lethal combination. The car is no place to socialise. Don't distract your friends when they're driving.
On the night of the fatal crash, did you have your mobile phone with you?
In my pocket.
Police evidence number TRC4. Your girlfriend has told us this is hers.
This video on her phone was recorded at 4 minutes before the crash.
Hey, I'm away, but I brought your top, but I'm wearing it. You were wearing my skirt last week. I'm sure you love me anyway. So we're on our way now, babes. Mwah.
Do you recognize the phone in your hand?
Yeah.
So you are lying. We can prove this is your phone from its history. This shows you sent and received 6 messages in the 20 minutes leading up to the crash.
That was before the crash. This is the message you were sending from 3 seconds before impact.
You looked at your phone instead of the road. And 2 brothers are dead. How does that make you feel?
You'll be charged with causing death by dangerous driving.
You've no hiding place if you kill with a phone.
Have you noticed some drivers make their own road signs? Signs saying, cut in front at junctions and you can't take it back. Signs warning you, rushing to work risks never making it home. And signs that overtakers miss. All the signs are there. Risky driving catches up with you.